Hello everyone, I'm FinnSpire and welcome back to my Dust and Illusion Tale speedrunning tutorials. This time I will go into chapter 2, which only includes Cirromon Caverns. That's the only area we actually visit in this chapter. Enough with the intro, let's just get into it. So in the first room you can see a couple of those green bug monsters. They will be very present during this area and there will be a lot of them. You can use them for some nice boosts. For example, you can boost them in here. And aerial dodge cancel to the right. If you just keep using aerial dodge cancel, you will actually hit the wall to the right, so that's why I did some pauses in between the aerial dodge cancels. In this room there is a cutscene, you have to skip it twice, like this. And after the cutscene, do some rising dust storm to the right, and then start doing aerial dodge cancels like this. You will land somewhere right next to those green bugs, which were just above me. I had an ideal situation where I just fell down directly to this hole. That's the purpose. That's the perfect execution, basically. But yeah, you will probably land somewhere around here, and then just keep going downwards. During this chapter we don't actually collect any keys or that kind of stuff, so you don't really need to worry about those. Then just go to the left and head down. There's a bomb you need to activate through a wall, so just do that. And after you have activated that bomb, some enemies will spawn right above you. So even though there weren't any enemies on your way down, now there are, and you can use those enemies to boost up. So you can jump to this platform and then just go up your way. When you're on the top, you should take care of these enemies so then they won't interrupt your bomb. Because you need to activate the bomb the second time to blow up this wall right here. So just go down here and activate the bomb. And don't hold dust storm for too long, because if you do, it will get stuck in that tunnel, because there's a little part where it can totally get stuck. So just make sure you don't hold the dust storm too long after activating the bomb. And when you go back here, I wouldn't suggest using dust storm before you reach about this point. Here is when you can safely use the dust storm to get the bomb and blow up the wall. So yeah, just keep that in mind. In this room there is a cutscene involving this stroke. You have to skip this 3 times, so just do that. And after the last skip, you can use aerial dust storm all the way over here. And then you must drop down and go to the left, so that's a real nice little trick you can use. And then skip it. That was the first cutscene involving Bobo. There will be 3 of those before we reach Mudbot Village. So in this room there's a big drop to my left. So what I do is I go to this ledge and then I do some aerial dodge cancels like this. And when I have done about 4, I will do an RDS to the left, and when I notice that I'm gaining some boost from my RDSs, usually I have to do one or 2 RDSs before I can feel the boost. When you feel the boost, then just do aerial dust storm to fly up. It's a nice little strat for this room. Or yeah, it's not that hard. I'm not even going to show the alternate strats, since that's pretty easy. When you're here, use aerial dust storm to get a boost from those monsters, and then just do aerial cancels to the left until you reach this cutscene where you talk to Bobo again. This time you have to skip this cutscene twice. So in this room, what I would do is I would go down from here to the left and get myself 2 bombs, and then I will escort those 2 bombs all the way to the Mudbot Village. But when you're learning this game, please don't do that, because that strat is probably the hardest one I need to execute in my route, and I wouldn't suggest trying that strat before you are starting to reach sub 1 hour mark, because it's a really risky strat that doesn't save too much time. If you want to save time with this strat, you should know what you're doing. And the worst thing is, if you... oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. If you fail this strat, you will lose so much time, it's not even funny. So don't do this. before you feel really comfortable with your techniques and your movements. But yeah, once you are done talking with Bobo, come to this ledge and take a boost from these monsters up here. I don't want this bomb to follow me, just so you don't get confused, because that bomb is not relevant, so let's just get rid of it and go up. In this room, land on this platform and then aerial dust storm to the right, so you can get a nice boost from those monsters. And then RDS until you reach this platform. And then go here. There's a nice strat in this room to avoid a red barrier. Let me show you what happens if I just use my dodge cancel. What will most likely happen is the enemies will be too close to get past this red barrier. It's possible to get through that red barrier or get through without activating the red barrier by just using dodge cancels, but I wouldn't suggest doing that because it's not consistent. Instead what I do is, when I'm standing on this platform, I will just jump to the left and then enter aerial dust storm and then keep holding my fidget projectiles to stun lock the enemies which are like directly below me. So it will look like this. But since the enemies were repositioned in a way that they were too close to the level exit, it didn't work out. So let me just go back here and load the save file so you can see how it looks like in a real run. So I will just RDS back up here, and then yeah, once you reach this ledge, jump up, enter aerial dust storm and do fidget projectiles, and you will get past the red barrier like 90% of the time. If you tried with the ground dodge cancel, your success rate will be around 50%, I would say. So yeah, enter this room, jump and do aerial dodge cancels to the left until you reach the end of the room, where you must take care of these enemies because they are too close to the red barrier, and unfortunately there's not a red barrier strats in this room, so you must just deal with the monsters and then get through here. In this room, dodge cancel to the left. Once you reach this point, you can boost up from those monsters, and then you must go to the right and enter the room above you instead of going to the left. The map says that you can go to the left from here, but don't. There's actually no way to go there. Let me show you really quickly. Yeah. Sometimes the map is confusing like that, but yeah, enter the room above you. When you enter the room, when you jump up, when you enter the next room, do dust storm and alter your facing directions like this instead of just diagonally going upwards, because that avoids you getting stuck to the platform right above you like that. Because if you don't do the zigzag motion, you will very likely get stuck to that platform like that. So just do some zigzag and then go diagonally to the left. That will avoid you getting stuck to that platform. Here's the third cutscene involving Bobo, so just skip this. And keep heading to the left. There's no monsters in this room, so there's nothing you need to worry about here. The mushrooms aren't fast enough to actually damage you most of the time, so you can ignore these. And when you're in this room, I will actually just create a save file so I can show you something later. There are some advanced strats you can execute in this room, but when you are just learning the game, I would suggest for your few runs, or your first few runs, you don't try to do the advanced strats. So I will first off show you what you want to do if you are just learning the game and want to have some really easy strats. So you just go down here. When you reach this ledge, don't go to the right, go to the left, and you will enter a scripted fight sequence. You must skip the cutscene once, and then you must fight these trolls. A tip fighting against trolls is to just keep holding down your attack, because that way you will just parry them eventually if you just keep holding down attack. It's pretty nice how it works like that. You don't need to time your parries. So yeah, skip that cutscene and enter Mudbots. That's what I would do if I was just learning the game. But there's a way to skip that fight, and there's a way to skip the cutscene which we are watching currently. The panorama cutscene that introduces Mudbots, we can skip that as well. So let me show you how those two skips work, because they are not the same thing, but you execute them right next to each other, so yeah. First of all, let me get rid of these enemies. That's not actually necessary, but at least they won't bother me that way. Land on this platform, and instead of landing or using dodge cancels to go to the left, we want to avoid the trigger that activates the fight scene. We do it works in the same way that fuse skip works and the skip in Great, where we just fly over the trigger that would start the boss fight. And here the gap where you need to sneak through is a lot smaller than in those other two areas, so that makes this skip quite a bit harder than those two skips like fuse skip. So let me show you how it works. This is my setup, how I do it. So just watch. I do some Rising Dust Storm until I reach a wall to the left, and when I have reached that wall, I can just drop down and there's no trigger. The trigger is actually right... oh god damn it. So I land right here and the trigger is right next to me to the right. So that kind of shows you how tight that skip is. And here's my setup, how I do it. Let's get rid of these guys again. I'm standing on this platform at the very edge of it. Then I will jump to the left and I will wait for dust to drop down a little bit. I will wait until he reaches like the lower part of this ceiling, which is right here. That's a nice visual cue for this trick. When I have dropped down to that point, I will start using RDS. I need about 3 RDSs to skip the trigger, and then I will just drop down, and there you go, you have skipped the cutscene. This is a skip which you can try anyway if you're not confident with it, because it actually doesn't lose barely any time to try it out. You will just enter the fight if you fail it, so that's nice. And then there's the Mudbot skip, the Mudbot panorama skip. How this works is when you are about to exit the level, you want to exit the level in a way that sends you backwards before you enter the next level. It doesn't make too much sense when I'm explaining it, but just watch what happens when I exit the level. You just saw that instead of going to the left when the screen transitioned to the next level, I actually ended up going backwards when I exit the level. And what that does is when the moment I hit the next level, I will actually go backwards immediately, because I ended up going backwards when I exit the level. And that skips the cutscene, and that saves around 15 seconds. And there's a pretty nice setup for it. What I do is I stand right at this mushroom. You can see there are 2 mushrooms, and I stand at the left one, or on top of the left one, and then I will jump and I will hold left, so I will jump left, and at the highest part of my jump I will press Aerial Dust Storm, and after pressing Aerial Dust Storm I will immediately start holding right. So this is how it looks like. So that's basically how it works. When I reach the highest point of my jump, I enter Aerial Dust Storm, and I will immediately start holding left after executing the Aerial Dust Storm, because there's a feature in Aerial Dust Storm in which the animation cannot be turned around during the first couple of frames, so you must kind of hold Aerial Dust Storm for half a second before you can turn around and go to the opposite direction using Aerial Dust Storm. And we can abuse that by having this nice setup where after activating the Aerial Dust Storm we can immediately start holding right, because there's a very consistent amount of time before you can turn around, and we can use that time buffer to turn around at the exact right moment, as long as we jump from the right direction. So it's a very consistent setup, even if it doesn't look like one. So yeah, I will stand right about here, then jump to the left, do the aerial dust storm and start holding right. And that skips the cutscene. Hopefully that explains it decently enough so you can try it yourself. Right, so you enter a mud pot, you want to skip these cutscenes. There's a couple of them. And after that, you can actually jump up from here and start using RDS to the left. So you will hopefully land on this platform. It's not important, you can just use this way to jump up these platforms, but that's a nice little trick. And then go talk to this guy, because he gives you the gemstone which you can use to open the gate. Not the gate, but the gate, which is right below you, so you can enter the room below you. But before we go down to get the slide ability, we must actually visit the room above me. Because this room is not ordinary room. As you can see from the minimap, it tells me that you can go to the left here, but that is actually the area exit. So if you go to the left from this room, you will exit the area and enter the world map. This is very important piece of information, because if you ever enter a world map from any save point, you have always the option to enter one of the exits of an area. You cannot teleport from save point to save point, but you can teleport from save point to area exits. And this room is one of the 2 area exits in Cirromon Caverns, and you can use this to warp back from anywhere in Cirromon Caverns, and we will use that to our advantage. So what you must do, you simply must enter this room and immediately exit. That basically activates this area exit. You don't have to exit the area entirely, you must just visit this room once and then just leave. That's enough. So just when you are coming up, jump to this platform, jump up and let dust just fall down, because that's enough to activate the room. You will see how that's useful when we get a bit further. So just go down here. The NPC gave us the gemstone which allows us to open this gate, so that's why it was useful, and then go down here. And now you must get through these rooms full of spikes. I won't give too many advices on how to do the movement. It's something you probably will figure out on your own, but let me just show you how I do it myself. I have optimized this room to a point where I'm pretty happy how it actually works out. So experiment with this room and see what works out for you, but I will just show you what I do myself. So yeah. There's the thing to note about this wind stream. It's not actually fast to use dodge cancels, because the wind will just block you. The fastest way to get through this wind is to use aerial dust storm. So do that with the wind streams that are going to the opposite direction. It's the fastest way to get through them. So yeah. Avoiding the spikes is the key, of course. You don't want to get hit by them ever. So I will use a bunch of different movements, basic movement mechanics, to get through the level as quickly as I can. The same thing applies to the next room. The room is full of spikes, and try to figure out a nice setup that works for you. But once again, here are my setups, how to do those rooms correctly. And then keep dodging to the left in this room until you reach this room. There's a nice little setup. You must actually fall down right about here to get the slide ability, because you can't get the slide ability because you need the ability before you can enter a slide spot naturally. So you must fall down there. And the fastest way to do that after entering the level is to stand right about here and then do a dodge cancel to the left. So ideally you will fall straight down from that hole. I kind of failed it, I was too far away. So right about here, do a dodge cancel and you will fall directly to the bottom of this pit. And once again, there's a wind stream, use the aerial dust storm to get through it pretty quickly, and then use RDS to get up there, like that. And then climb these platforms. There's a nice little trick to climb these faster than I'm doing right now, and I do that by abusing the fact that every time I swing in the air, I get a bit of height each time I do that, and if I end a combo with a special move, it will give me even a bit of extra height, and I can do the full combo by ending it with a down slash like this. So that's how you get a bit of height without having any kind of double jump ability, and I will abuse those moves to get through these platforms quicker than I will just do by hopping on each individual platform. And how I do that is by doing that. Basically what I did, I swinged twice in the air and then did the down slash to get on top of this. After that I do 2 swings to get on top of this thing, then I hop onto these 2 platforms, and from this platform I do RDS to get here. Then I will jump up here. Also there's another cool trick you can do with the aerial swing. When you jump up, you can see that I'm hovering for a few milliseconds above this platform when I'm jumping up. But you can actually cancel that hover by attacking right below the platform, or right below where you will land. That immediately makes contact with the platform and it avoids that little hovering animation before you actually land on the platform. That's a little cool trick that I can use in various places to land onto platforms faster than I would normally be able to. So like that. And then I will actually skip this platform as well by doing RDS and doing one wall RDS. And now we have the slide ability, which we can use to get through the slide spots like that. And there's a cool thing you can do with slide. Just like with dash, when you are near a ledge while using slide, it gives you a slight momentum boost like this. You probably can't see it too well, but it's definitely there. You get a slight momentum boost when you do that. And if you press attack immediately after sliding from this ledge, you can actually gain a bit of height and get on top of that thing. And you can chain that with a rising dust storm, so you get this movement. It's a nice little thing you can do in this room, and feel free to experiment with that. There's another movement technique we can do with slide, which is very similar to that one, which is slide boosting. And slide boosting looks like this. You chain slide immediately with the dust storm. Basically what I do is I tap down, so I will crouch really quickly, and while I'm crouched I will press a jump, so I will slide like this. You can only see that I tap down very quickly, and that's because that won't happen, because I will have to enter dust storm immediately after that, and if I keep pressing downwards it will just down slash. So that's why I just tap down really quickly, so I won't accidentally do the down slash. So yeah, those are the 2 techniques you can do with the slide ability. This one, and then the slide boost. Slide boost is a very useful technique in Cirromon Caverns. No, not in Cirromon Caverns, but Ceramic Meadows, sorry. I got the 2 areas mixed. But anyway, let's continue. We must go back to the save point, where we will abuse the fact that we activated the area exit previously, so yeah. You can do another one of those slide techniques in that thing, because you must actually go all the way back here. You don't want to go up here or anything. You want to go to the right from here instead. You must use some rising dust storms to do that, but that's not a problem really. And the save point is right here. So now that we have activated the left entrance of Cirromon, which is right above Mudbot, instead of backtracking all the way to the Mudbot through the spike rooms, which would be super annoying, we can just enter the world map from the save point. And we can go to Cirromon Caverns and choose the left entrance, which is right above Mudbot, and we can use that instead to go back to Mudbot. And that's also the reason why we bought, why we got 5 teleport stones from the shop instead of 4, because we need 4 during Soaring Meadows and 1 in this area. So yeah, one thing to note, this yellow wall is preventing us from entering Lady Thetis. We have to go through a really lengthy section of this area to go fight Lady Thetis, and we use this way to exit Lady Thetis so we don't have to backtrack. But it would be really nice if we would be able to blow up this wall without going through all the rooms, and luckily we can do that. I do that by picking up the bomb while I'm on the way to Mudbot, but what you should probably do instead is to go down here, go to the old guy. You don't actually need to talk to him or anything, he just has a quest. Enter this slide spot and go to the left. And get through this room as quickly as you can, using dodge cancels and some boosts and whatnot. And then enter this room with the air ventilation. You can see that there are a couple of monsters flying in this air vent. You should get rid of them, because they will get on your way if you don't do that. Because what you must do in... oh goddammit, get in here. Yeah, there we go. Because there's a bomb in this room which we can use to blow up that yellow wall which I was just talking about, and therefore we can enter Lady Thetis earlier than we are supposed to. So get this bomb and start using dodge cancel to the right and wait until you reach the top. And make sure the bomb is right next to you when you enter the next level. Because if the bomb is not near to you when you enter the next level, it will disappear and it will not actually follow you. The same thing applies if the bomb timer actually reaches 0, but it still comes with you to the next level, it will disappear for whatever reason. So the bomb timer must be above 1, and the bomb must be right next to you so it can follow you to the next room. Actually, the bomb doesn't have to be right next to you, but it has to be on your side while you enter the next area. So yeah, there is one problem if we just continued going to the right from here. The bomb has a timer and it will start to tick down eventually, and the timer is too strict for our purpose. So, but luckily there's a way how we can reset the bomb timer or add a lot of time into the bomb, and how we do that is by going back and forth between 2 rooms. That actually adds a bunch of time to the bomb timer, and that's really useful throughout the run. So what we do is we will go back and forth between those 2 rooms, and ta-da! We have a lot better timer for our bomb, so we have enough time to escort it all the way back to Mudbot. And instead of using dodge cancel to get through this room, sorry, it's a better idea to use RDS instead, because there will be enemies on the bottom of this room, and those enemies will be very happy to blow up your bomb. So you want to avoid that by using Rising Dust Storm to get over the room safely without blowing up the bomb. So once you reach this wall right here, you can drop down a bit and continue using RDS until you reach the end of the level. Make sure the bomb is right next to you when you enter the next room. I will actually reset the timer just in case. You don't usually have to do that, but for my demonstration purposes I will do that. Enter the slide bot, and if you try to get the bomb through that slide spot just by using Dust Storm here, it usually doesn't work. Let me reset the timer one more time because I'm kind of scared. Instead of doing that, land on this platform and then use your Dust Storm. Then the bomb will get through the slide spot pretty easily. And then the yellow wall is right above you, so get through those platforms and blow up the wall and enter Lady Thetis earlier than you would normally be able to through this teleporter. There's a lightning ability right left to you. It might be good that you get the abilities before the fight actually. I usually get it after the fight, but you can get that ability before the fight actually begins. So yeah. Here you will enter the Lady Tethys fights. There are a couple of cutscenes which you must skip first, but after these ones we will start fighting Lady Tethys. But before we begin, let me tell you something. There's a way to kill Lady Tethys really quickly without having to fight her like we would be intended to fight according to the developer. There's a way to get her stuck in one of the floating platforms in this arena, and when she gets stuck to that platform, we can use down slash to kill her without her doing anything about it. And how we do that is we jump to the top platform in this arena, the one that is the furthest to the top, and immediately after landing on that platform, we don't actually try to hit Lady Tethys before we jump on that platform. We right after skipping this cutscene, we get on top of that platform, and when we land on the platform, we crouch and we start doing down slashes like over and over. And what should happen is this: she gets stuck, she cannot move. And if you keep doing this, if you just saw that I took almost half of her health away, so that's really good. But when you reach about half of her health bar, you must take a pause which lasts about 1 second, because if you don't, she will unstuck herself and she can actually hit you pretty hard. So what you must do when you reach about half point of her health, keep a really small pause and then keep slashing until she dies. Because if you don't take that small pause in between, she will get herself released from the chains of that platform and she can hurt you. So yeah, that's the quick kill for Lady Tethys, and that's why that boss fight is pretty easy. Right, so we are about done with this area. Only thing left to do is to watch the cutscenes in Modbot to activate the next area. So we go down here and we should activate the cutscene right about there. It's a pretty lengthy one, so just skip through everything. A good rule of thumb, with skipping cutscenes is that you will be able to skip a cutscene immediately after a dialogue box appears. So that's usually a good estimator on when you can skip the cutscene. Or whenever the screen fades out slightly for the dialogue. That's the point when you can skip it. Oh god damn it, this is not 117%. You don't need to talk to Bobo again. For some reason I just did. You just have to go to the left and you should exit the area using the area exits. And yeah, we are done with chapter 2. So yeah, this was a lengthy episode compared to other two, but I have a feeling that the next episode will be even longer than this, because we are going into Sorrowing Meadows and there's a lot to do in that area, and it might take a while to go through everything. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. The last thing remaining is to skip these couple of dialogues and then enter Sorrowing Meadow. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and see you on the next episode.